All right, here we go. Sunday night Knicks. Knicks lose a tough one in the Mile High City, 111-105. CP from KnicksFanTV, my man Alex Wolf returns. Al, I thought you were coming back for a W, man. It was a valiant effort. Knicks down by 16 coming into the second half. A defensive effort that was phenomenal. You know, the best of its season. The Knicks just could not pull this one out, man. 111-105. What'd you see out there tonight, man?
Yeah, I mean, they certainly never quit. You know, there are times this season where, you know, even in the last Nuggets game where if the Knicks had gotten down by 20 points, you just assumed they were cooked.
Facts.
You know, and that's just not the case anymore. I don't know. This is, you know, there's been multiple games now, the last two games in particular, where they've gone down big and they've come back. And, you know, this one they took the lead late in the game and just ultimately couldn't put it away. But I thought they showed great fight, you know, and good adjustments. They came out, you know, looking like they were wearing cement shoes in the first half, especially on defense. You know, it just seemed like everybody was a step slow and, you know, Denver was running them off the floor. The fast breaks were absolutely killing the Knicks, you know, and then towards the end of the game there, you know, and really for the whole second half, it helped that Marcus Morris kind of exploded in the third to kind of bring them back within punching distance. And then, you know, they were getting stops. They were playing the passing lanes well. I just thought they made a lot of crucial little adjustments that made things work for them. And, you know, I think that's a credit to Mike Miller. You know, it's obvious that he's having an impact. He's making timely timeouts. I think his rotations make enough sense. You can maybe argue tonight that down the stretch things kind of fell apart a little bit when Frank and Taj got subbed out.
Yeah.
And, you know, and he didn't make the end game adjustment there with a couple minutes left to try to preserve the game. But I think that he just went with who he thought should have been the closers. And, like, there was no debating that, like, Elfrid Payton had a good night. Mitch had a pretty good second half. You know, I didn't have a huge problem with him sticking with those guys and being like, all right, you know, let's see if they can do it. But all in all, good. I mean, it was very encouraging all around. You know, I don't think there's, other than the Portland game, and even that one, there was, you know, silver linings to be found.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been a single game in the Miller era that I haven't walked away being like, win or loss, okay, that, you know, this is a good game.
It's good signs, man. This coach is doing his homework out there. He's very prepared. I'm very curious to see what's on that notepad that he's got walking coming out of the timeouts with. But listen, I thought, you know, once again, the third quarter effort, it was Marcus Morris, man. 16 points in that quarter. He hadn't had much going in the first half. The defense was phenomenal. Frank he drank his confidence vitamins, his confidence juice tonight. You know what I mean? That boy Frank found his nuts tonight. He was all over it on the defensive end. Elfrid Payton, 10 points, 10 dimes. You know, I thought the guards were solid, man. I think the turning point of the game was the fact that, you know, the Knicks had a 5-point lead. And with 3 minutes to go, the Nuggets were able to cut that down. I think Jokic hit a 3 to put them up 2. And from that point, we could not buy a basket, man. We could not get a basket between, you know, I thought that, to give credit to the Nuggets, they played good defense. They took Morris out of the game. And, you know, we had a lineup out there with Peyton, RJ, Morris, Mitch, and Randall, and we just couldn't score. We could not score to get back in this game, and you know, just having that lack of a go-to guy, even though Morris has kind of been that guy, you know, once they went away from him, it was either Julius or bust, basically.
Yeah, more or less. You know, and it was a bust.
Yeah, bust.
I mean, Randall still is a work in progress to me, I think. I think his shot selection is getting better, but I don't think it's perfect yet. Like, on a night like tonight, I felt like he should have abandoned the 3 a lot earlier than he did, just because he's very streaky. You know, it's either going in or it's not, and tonight it was not. And he put up, what was it,
1 for 6? Yeah, 1 for 6, I think. Yeah.
And his first made 3 was his first basket of the game, and the Knicks' first basket of the game, if I remember correctly. So
yes.
You know, it just wasn't his night from 3. He wasn't abandoning the net. He even some of his takes that went in, you know, he made the shot that put the Knicks ahead late in the game, and I even tweeted from P&T about that. I was like, you want to get on him because this was kind of a bad shot, but it went in and it just gave the Knicks the lead. So it's kind of hard to hate on it. But, he took it, was going right and then went up with his left hand for a jumper. And it was just kind of a mess of a shot.
Yeah.
And I think he's still unlearning some tendencies from Fizdale and unlearning some of the unnecessarily large role that Fizdale signed him. But, even from him, I think we're seeing some good stuff.
Yeah, I think we are seeing some improvements. I saw people in the chat were really trashing him. And listen, there was certainly some moments in the fourth I was just like, slow down. There was that one possession where it seemed like he had it for an eternity. And he was just stumbling and bumbling. And ultimately he got fouled. But sometimes, when you conversely, you look at RJ, who just doesn't have it going, from the field. It's kind of like you got to live and die with Randall out there right now if you're not going Morris. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you. Sometimes it feels that way, Like, it would certainly help. I may as well just get this out of the way early because I'm gonna complain about this at some point during this show.
Mm-hmm.
It would really help if RJ Barrett would get foul calls. Like,
oh man,
I cannot believe the amount of times he gets mugged on a daily basis anymore and doesn't get a foul call. Tonight, I mean, he got practically clotheslined by, I think it was Plumlee and Jeremy Grant on his one drive.
It was a scary fall too, man.
Yeah, bad fall, and doesn't get a call. He had one earlier in the game where he missed his, I think it was a reverse, and he got his own rebound. Jokic hacked him, and he didn't get a call there. I mean, I think that RJ is closer than we think to being a guy that you can count on late in games for his ability to draw fouls.
True.
But he can't draw the fouls if they're not called. You know what I mean? So I think that the days of living and dying by Randall and Morris hopefully will be numbered once RJ can, I guess, get the clout necessary in the NBA refereeing circles to actually get foul calls. Because,
no love.
Yeah, he's generating good looks, getting to the inside and stuff, and that's been what he's had to lean on lately because his shot, from mid range and from three, has been kind of struggling lately.
Yeah.
So he's had to really rely on his ability to get inside, and he's been doing that, but he's been getting just hack city every time he's in there. I don't know if he just has to flop more or what's going to play better with the refs, but yeah, something's got to change there.
No love from RJ from the Zebras, man. I couldn't take it. I couldn't, especially on that dunk attempt. I couldn't take it. You mentioned Frank and Taj before. It seems like the two of them have these good games like in tandem. You ever notice that? Like when one has it going, the other one typically has it going on a particular night. You see a lot of pick and rolls being ran with Frank and Taj. I like how Taj was really aggressive in the third quarter, just defensively. Him and Plumlee were going at it. Him and Jokic had a couple moments there. Definitely like what they gave us. I thought I like the action that Miller was running from Kev early in the game. I think trying to get him involved early, running him off of some screens, get him in some high percentage shots in the paint. I like Kev's action out there early tonight as well.
Yeah, I thought Knox was great. I think it was his first play of the game after he got in. At least I think it was his first offensive play. He got the ball, up at the top, and he took forget who it was off the dribble, but it was a four. And, he was playing against a power forward and took him right off the dribble. Was it Plumlee? I think they had Plumlee and Jokic out there at the same time at that time, and took Plumlee off the dribble and, just slammed it home because he's that much quicker than a power forward, or in that case, a center. They were kind of running the two center lineup. But either way, like it was a good play by him, and, it kind of set the tone for his night. He was, I think, playing well. He was about as engaged as you can ever hope to see him on the defensive end.
That's it.
And, if he could do that and then be effective on offense, like he was tonight, then he can generally be a positive player. I don't think that he's a guy that necessarily is going to be a superstar or anything, but I think that there are ways to make him a plus player in it, and it starts with getting him in situations to succeed on offense, because that's where he's going to give you his actual value.
Yeah, and that was a good job by Mike Miller trying to get him involved early. My guy Sean Shepard had hit me up on the gram, and he's saying Fizz really wasn't doing that earlier this season like he was last, in trying to get Kev's contributions out there early, just get him engaged, right? They always talk about his motor and trying to get him involved in the game early, and I like what Mike Miller did to try to kind of get his spirits up and get him engaged. Another DMP for DSJ tonight. It's two nights in a row. I don't mind it. What about you? I don't mind it at all. I think we need to keep the point guard rotation to the two.
why would we care at this point? You know what I mean? Like, I hate to say it because I'm a DSJ guy, like going, all the way back to the draft initially, I liked DSJ.
Facts.
And, I had high hopes for him coming into this year, but he hasn't earned his playing time. I mean, period. You can't, I like that Miller is trying to establish a rotation and not just kind of throw everybody out there any given night. Like tonight he played 10 guys and that's a rotation. That's what you're supposed to do. And, to varying degrees of minutes and stuff, but everybody played, decent minutes. And, Dotson, you can maybe argue could have played a little more. He only played 7 minutes, but he was a minus 15. I guess there's something that Miller was seeing out there that he wasn't liking out of Dotson. But, other than that, like, I can't see playing Dennis Smith just for the sake of playing Dennis Smith right now.
I agree.
He's not worth the time right now. Get him those development reps, I guess, in practice. Get him what he needs there.
I said put him in the G League, man.
Or put him in the G League. Put him in the G League. Hey, you know what? This is a whole thing. I had a whole rant about this. The first time that DSJ was playing like crap, before he kind of had that mini resurgence that started during the Dallas game and all that. I had a little mini rant on Locked On Knicks about this, about how the stigmas around the G League need to start going away because it shouldn't be looked at as like a punishment or something to degrade players. You know what I mean? It's not a bad thing. I do think that DSJ could benefit from it because he just needs somewhere to get his confidence back, somewhere to, run some actions and, just rediscover himself. I don't know. Like he needs, because when he's out there, he just doesn't look comfortable in his own skin half the time. And it sucks because he's normally a very explosive player. I mean, we saw last year when he first came to the Knicks, he's extremely quick getting to the rim. Has these great moves under the rim to contort his body and get layups up and stuff. And eventually I want to see him back, but there's no point wasting actual game minutes on him when the Knicks have looked kind of competitive lately.
True.
It's like if it was a blowout tonight, I'm sure Smith would have gotten a couple minutes. But it wasn't. They turned it around, and it's like, well, why would we put Dennis Smith in there now? He's not going to help us continue this turnaround. He's going to probably hemorrhage a couple points away, and can't really afford that in a close game. So.
Facts, man. Absolutely, man. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. CP and my man Alex Wolf in the building. Let's go to the phones out. Danny from Washington Heights. What's going on, Danny?
Hey yo, I'm in a good mood tonight, CP.
How you feeling? You in a good mood? We lost, man. Are you're in the moral victories crew today?
Listen, man. It's just like you just said. It's a moral victory. Let me tell you why. My man Frank Niggalina, 13 points on 4 for 6, on 4 steals, on 5 assists. Man, this is what I wanted him to be the whole time. I don't care, Mike Miller. It looks like Mike Miller is figuring out what to do with the young players. He's using Taj Gibson well. He's been using Randall a lot better than Fizdale's been using. The defensive rotations look a lot better. The team is more cohesive. We're not getting blown out by 40 anymore. We're just doing the thing we usually did before, which is losing in the fourth quarter again. Man, life is good right now. I don't care. We can lose every game like this.
Quality loss. Daddy's going for the quality loss. Okay. I mean, we talked about Frank yesterday. I was on a Twitter conversation with Frank. Somebody's like, "What's going on with Frank?" We know the story with Frank, Al. He's got to take those confidence vitamins, man. If he's not taking it, he's got to bring it every night, man. And the story.
I don't even necessarily know that it's 100% confidence. Like some nights he just doesn't have it. You know what I mean? But there's certainly nights where he looks like he didn't take his confidence vitamins. Like he didn't have the Michael Secret stuff in Space Jam or whatever. You know what I mean? Some nights he comes out and he just comes out blazing, and we saw that, I think, in the last game as well. And the shot just wasn't falling as much last game.
Right.
But he came out aggressive, and, I think that Miller told him to do that. And, it's just, I feel like it's something where you're going to constantly have to, like, be hitting him with the cattle prodder his whole career and be like, hey, Frank, like,
turn up.
Come on, let's turn up. Let's go.
Yeah.
Like, you could do this, man. Like, you actually have these abilities. But tonight he was on, and he was shooting well too. I mean, so it was like the total package. He was showing confidence. He was shooting well, and that started opening up other parts of the game for him. He had maybe one of my favorite, low-key, one of my favorite Knick passes of the season.
Oh, man, that was beautiful.
This
beautiful
gorgeous
pass.
wrap-around
Beautiful pass.
Yeah, around 2 defenders into Taj Gibson, streaking for a dunk behind Jokic. I mean, Yeah, there was no shot that Frank's defender Jokic had any chance at that ball because it was just like took this perfect
Beautiful
path under both their hands.
That was a beautiful pass, man. I really thought we were gonna have that game, man. I really thought we were gonna have that game. Frank finished with 13 points, 4 steals. 4 steals for Frank. He had a nice rip on Jamal Murray and then took it in for a dunk. So that was good to see. 2 for 4 from downtown. So good stuff from Frank there. Let's go to Val from Jersey's up. Val, how you feeling tonight, man?
Good. How are you guys?
Good, man. You sound like what are you on the way home? You sound like you in the tunnel or something, man.
Oh no. Hold on. I'll get off the Bluetooth.
Yeah,
Hello?
please. Yeah.
All right. Good. Yes. I want to talk about the elephant in the room, and I think everybody's been blaming Frank, but DSJ has to go.
Hello?
That was pretty
Hello?
short. Sweet.
Yeah, it was straight to the point. Go ahead, man. Finish your point, man.
I feel like we. Oh yeah, I feel like we could get a mid-first rounder for him. I just feel like his body language, he pouts when he comes out of games. He just seems negative. I just don't like his face. It's just, I think we got to get rid of that kid. It's just, look how beautiful we look with Elfrid Payton and Frank learning from Elfrid Payton. DSJ offers nothing once he can't score. And I don't want to be that guy, but he's not ours. He's Dallas's problem. I feel like we're not loyal to him. We're not obligated to him. We should at least try to preserve him and trade him for a mid-first rounder just to get him out of there. He's not.
All right.
I don't. Ugh.
All right, Val's wheeling and dealing on the trade machine there, Al. I don't know how many's getting through for that first rounder, but
Yeah, you're not getting a mid-first rounder for Dennis Smith right now. I mean, that's exactly why it doesn't make sense to get rid of him right now because his trade value is in the basement.
Couldn't get any lower.
It's basically you're in the same position with DSJ now as we were with Frank around this time last year, where, you remember the Knicks price for Frank allegedly was, they were saying that they would trade him for early second rounder potentially, and they would consider that good value for him. I think you'd be lucky to get what projects to be an early second rounder for DSJ right now, just because he's looked really bad. I mean, I hate to trash him and pile on it all because, like I said, I do like him and I do kind of have hopes that he can turn himself around at some point, at least become a good, spark plug bench guard. But he's not worth a mid-first rounder right now. He's not worth his draft position by any stretch of the imagination. You'd be lucky if you could get a couple of future second-round picks from him right now. Think something like Billy Hernan-Gomez, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you got 2 future seconds out of Charlotte who projected at the time to still be a playoff team for a couple of years.
We're not getting that for DSJ, man.
Yeah, that's about the best chance you can hope for DSJ. So I say hold on to him, try to figure him out. Worst case scenario, you hold on to him for another year. He's on a rookie deal, so he's not making that much money.
Right, it's not hurting.
And it's not like the Knicks have anything there's no big free agents this coming summer that the Knicks should be going after. Because Anthony Davis is for sure going to stay in
Los Angeles
now. So who cares about the free agents this year? Just keep him. And as our former coach might say, you just try to get him right. That's what you got to do with DSJ at this point.
Try to get him right.
Ride it out. There's no point in trying to get rid of him at this point. It's because it's like selling a stock at its lowest possible point.
Yeah.
You get the worst amount of return for something that you could be getting, a potentially better return for down the line. So, or even during the off season when, like, if you want to hold on to him and trade him, like, just don't trade him by this trade deadline. Trade him during the off season when everybody forgets about what this season was. And you could sell them on, hey, this is former number 9 overall
he's got
pick,
potential.
Yeah, he's got potential. You know what I mean? Sell them on the potential. Don't let them have any film. Let them think about that reworked jump shot and everything.
Oh man, I'm telling you, it's all bad right now, man. All bad. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for you boys. If you guys are new in the chat right now, leave us a hashtag new, so we can shout you guys out. I want to definitely shout out Greenhouse in the building. He's from Brick City, Newark. Marvin Smith in here. Carlos Martinez checking in from Perth, Australia. We got Dan Wynn. We got O-Dog, Apple Fanboy checking in. I know he's watching that Buffalo-Pittsburgh game right now. He's from Buffalo, so salute to Apple Fanboy. And yeah, man, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you guys are new. And next person up, let's go to Rochester. Nate, what's going on, man?
What's up, guys? It was a good game tonight, I think. I don't know. A lot of talk about Frank. It was weird because I feel like it was just like a random slump. Like every player has slumps, but we made a lot more of it with Frank. And it's just like when you shoot as many jumpers as Frank does, because he doesn't really get to the rim that much, you're naturally gonna have like a high variance on like if you have a good game or not. So until Frank gets to the rim, you're gonna see that inconsistency. And like right now, we just gotta kind of live with it. You know what I mean? But
yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Uh,
That's. I mean, he kind of lives and breathes that.
So yeah,
elbow jumper there.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nate.
yeah. And something I want to talk about. Mitch has been fouling less, which I think that's a good thing. But have you noticed how he's kind of like hesitant to like kind of contest players? Like there's a lot of shots, like, specifically in like the first and second, where he would just kind of let guys go to the rim because he was afraid to foul. And I'm not sure if that's a good development or not. And like he hasn't blocked a 3-pointer forever, which is kind of weird. Like that was what he was like really good at. But and I appreciate that he's trying to develop, but I feel like he's kind of swung too far in one direction over the other. Does that make sense? So you got to kind of find like the happy medium there.
No, I noticed that same thing.
Well, I think, last 4 games, I think he's been pretty solid. This game, I did notice what Nate had noticed, like the first and second quarter, he just wasn't really aggressive. We didn't have that rim protection. He looked like he was scared to be aggressive and didn't want to pick up those early fouls. Later in the game, I had a couple costly mistakes, but it's Jokic. Obviously, Jokic is a tough guard for anybody.
Yeah, but what's unfortunate about that is that the pivotal foul call
was terrible.
That Jokic, got was not really foul. Jokic was throwing his elbow into Mitch's, he was throwing his elbow into Mitch's arm straight up, and then Mitch got called for a foul for it. And it's like, well, what more do you want the kid to do at that point? Like that wasn't a foul. Like I don't think that was a foul. And it was, it sucks because that's the type of stuff that Mitch is afraid of, I think, and that's why you see him being a little more lax in some of his minutes. But like, what's good about Mitch is that even if he's only operating at like 50% on the defensive end, his offense has been so efficient and nasty lately, like in pick and roll, particularly with Elfrid Payton off the bench, that even if Mitch is operating at 50% on defense to try to preserve himself and his foul total, he's still, I think, overall a positive, even if he's not quite as overwhelmingly a positive as he is when he's, going full tilt on defense. So it's going to be a give and take. He's still young though, but like I would much rather see what we saw tonight with him being a little tentative to preserve himself for late in the game than see him go out there and be overzealous. Get himself in foul trouble in the first 5 seconds. You know what I mean? So it's a give and take, but I think we're trending in the right direction.
I think so, and I like him under this new direction with Mike Miller. Obviously, Peyton has been a big factor in getting Mitch unleashed and getting him some easy buckets. Peyton being able to get that dribble penetration going and just makes things a lot easier for everybody, including Mitch. So we got to remember Mitch is still a project, man. He's got a ways to go. I know Nate was saying he hasn't seen him block 3-pointers. Hey, it's not that easy, man. You know what I mean? We got so spoiled seeing him do it last year with ease, but it's not an easy thing. So
yeah, it's a hard play.
Yeah,
it's a hard. I mean, Mitch makes it look easy, and Mitch will gobble a guy up. But it's smart though because Mitch has gotten called. I think guys have maybe learned a little bit on their timing with him to kind of fake him out just a tiny bit before they start going up for the shot because he got caught a couple times trying to block threes with. I think he might have gotten a landing zone foul once or twice, and he definitely caught arm once or twice as well. So I think guys have started adjusting their timing around him a little bit. So that might actually be Mitch getting smarter too. Not going for those quite as much.
True indeed, man. I want to salute everybody in the chat. We got 500 people watching so far on KnicksFanTV YouTube. Salute to everybody watching on the Nick of Time show. Jay Ellis is recording his podcast with his guys, so usual Sundays he's not here. I want to shout out Ohiniba Afriye. He says #new. Salute to him. Noli No in the chat. What's going on, Noli No? Who else we got in here? #new. Salute to everybody, man. Kevin Tucker, what's going on? They say Cole Anthony tore his ACL out.
Yikes.
Damn.
If the Knicks keep up winning, kind of, and that drops him in the draft.
Hey,
maybe that's a thing for the Knicks. Not to turn that into anything, but it sucks for him, man. All the best for Cole Anthony.
Tough loss for Cole Anthony. Let's shout out Charlie Donato. He's team #new. What's going on, Charlie? Salute to James Swain. How you feeling? And Will from LI is in the building. What's going on, Will? Okay. Next call is Will from LI. Will, what's going on, man? Perfect timing, bro.
Hey, what? Right on cue. Hey, what's going on, the CP and Alex? How y'all doing?
Good, man.
Good.
Good. So, man, I'm gonna keep it brief, man. Let me tell you just how much I appreciate the dedication. Because let me give you guys a brief story. My family was just like, "Hey, we're going on a family cruise to Mexico. You want to come?" I was like, "All right, let me check my schedule." And what I really meant was, let me check the Knicks schedule. I was like, "All right, we got 2 games. Nothing crazy is gonna happen in those 2 games. I should be fine." So I was like, "All right, yeah, let's go." So boom, I'm on the cruise having a great time, but there's no internet connection. I finally get to Mexico, and then the bombshell just happened.
That was Fizdale.
Fizdale fight. I'm just like, excuse me? Yeah, it just blows up, and I was like, oh my God. So basically, half of my day in Mexico is me on Twitter and YouTube and just downloading your content and just watching it on the cruise. It's just great stuff. But either way, I'm happy that the move happened because I just don't know if I could have taken a whole more season of this. But now we just got to talk about the elephant in the room, right? So Mike Miller, the way he's been having these cats moving, I like it. I like the spacing. I like how he gives it to the hot man, which was Morris today, and he's using the guys properly. And I'm seeing a little bit more development from Knox and RJ. Well, not RJ not too much, but as well as Mitch. But I keep hearing that if the Knicks keep spiraling, that they're gonna try to get a head coach mid-season. I'm just like, wouldn't that defeat the whole purpose if we are going to completely change the front office? Don't you want them to choose who who that coach would be to get alignment and everything? So that's one issue. I mean, and then another one is like, I mean, listen, I don't wish bad upon no players, but did you guys see what happened to Luka? He's going to be out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I did.
I mean, we are getting the draft pick this year. So
it's only a sprained ankle. It's only a sprained ankle, Will.
Hey, I know, but that looks pretty nasty. I don't know. Maybe you want to, put some extra caution on it. I don't know.
My God.
And then the last thing is like, if we were to get Masai, they said it would cost us 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to just leave you guys on that.
Okay.
All that stuff going on. I appreciate the dedication. I watch everything. Love the show.
The return of Will from LI, man. Comes back from the cruise and gets right back into it. Hope you had a good time, man. The interim coach in-season coaching hire, Al, just made no sense to me. I've never even thought of that. That just sounds ridiculous. I did see the report from Shams, but I just couldn't give it any credibility. What do you think when you heard that?
I think it's crap. I don't know.
It's garbage.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who gave that info out. It might have literally been, like it could have been Mills and Perry themselves. I don't know, to plant the seed.
Yeah, something
like,
big's happening. Something big.
Yeah, like trying to preserve their jobs to be like, well, if things don't go well with Mike Miller, then he's out. I don't know. I don't know what their thought is there, but it's I think it's bogus. I don't think they're gonna do that. They'd be so foolish to do it. Why would they do that? Why would they? Why would you bring a new coach in halfway through the season? There's absolutely no reason to. You know what I mean? It's just roll with Mike Miller. The team already sucks. What's the worst you could do? They were 4-20 when Fizdale got gone, or 4-18?
About that.
But it was 4-18, right? Because they ended up 4-20 after the Portland game. So because it was 4-20 against the Blazers.
Facts.
But yeah, so they're 4-18. I mean, how much worse can you get than that? They're already showing progress now.
Yeah.
I think as long as they keep staying competitive, how on earth are you gonna, get rid of Mike Miller and try to bring in freaking, God forbid, Mark Jackson or even Jeff Van Gundy, who would probably play well with the media and the fans and whatever. I mean, it's stupid.
For a rebuilding team, it would be absolutely ridiculous. I could see if it was a team that was like, some sort of super team, dream team that had high aspirations. Even then, it would be, kind of risky.
It would be unprecedented.
Yeah, it would be still unprecedented. I just don't see the point. I obviously we're in a honeymoon phase with Mike Miller right now, right? So far, we like the adjustments. The after timeouts have been a tremendous upgrade from Fizz. He's kept it simple. He's kept it simple on the defensive end, especially, with all the switching and, sometimes Fizz would go switch into zone to this to that all in one possession sometimes. Mike Miller has kind of kept it simple, let these guys get some time to gain some chemistry. Sometimes when you try to make things too complicated, it involves a lot more communication. And if you don't have everybody on the same page, everybody who has a high IQ, it's just not going to work.
Yeah, I'm with you. Absolutely. I mean, it's, I think that he's shown enough to certainly justify his existence already, like to justify keeping him the whole rest of the season. Because if he does nothing else but keep getting little bits of improvement here and there from, Ntilikina and Knox and Barrett and Robinson, and even DSJ maybe somewhere later down the season. Even, he's even extracting the most out of Morris and Randall and Peyton and all these guys that you could potentially trade at the deadline or something. He's, if for nothing else, he's doing all that, and that's really all you can ask for. And yeah, right. He's instilling something. He's putting forth an offensive system. It seems like he's running plays, which is good, which is a good influence on the young kids. So even if at the end of the season you decide to go with a different coach, now these kids have at least been running regular plays rather than what right. Fizdale was doing, which was essentially just figuring out ball. You know what I mean? And on defense, they're starting to establish a little bit of an identity as well, and they're not just doing that weird hybrid zone thing all the time, right? Regardless of opponent, they're actually like throwing different looks out there on defense, and they're making smart plays. And you're even starting to see guys like Knox, who was kind of a defensive liability for the first year and a quarter of his career, start to make some plays and show a little bit of progress, on the defensive end. And it's encouraging. There's a lot of encouraging things with Miller, like to unless the Knicks literally go on like a 30-game losing streak or something, there's absolutely no reason to get rid of Mike Miller. And
no reason.
It would be foolish to. And even if you did get rid of him, it would be foolish to hire an outside hire. Then just make Caleb Canales your head coach. You know what I mean? Like if you're going to go do a second interim coach, don't hire a full-time outside hire in the middle of the season. That's just the
makes no
thing
sense.
I've ever heard of.
Makes no sense. I think they need to consider that this new coach, whether it's Mike Miller or not, they need somebody that's going to have the patience and that's going to grow with this team. You know what I mean?
Oh, no doubt.
And he just seems, obviously coming from the Westchester stint that he had, you never know. Give this guy the full rest of the season, evaluate. Well, we'll see which regime is going to evaluate him. But I think he deserves equal consideration to whoever else they're considering.
I totally agree, and I think that you could reasonably argue, that there's no point of even bringing in an outside hire coach if Miller can continue this. What do we have? 5 games now? 5 game sample for him.
Yeah, 5 games.
If he can continue what we've seen in this 5-game sample for the whole rest of the season, then there's no point in even getting a new coach this offseason, to be completely honest. Just give him a little incremental raise, like give him a normal head coaching salary, give him a 1-year deal for next year with like a team option for the second year or something like that, and just kind of do it that way and let him just develop the kids for 1 year, because they're not going to improve that much in free agency this year. They're not going to suddenly jump to being a contender. So even if Miller's only a bridge coach that's going to, take your young roster and start to shape them into something better than what they were when he started, but it doesn't necessarily have the X's and O's to put your team over the hump. Just roll with him for 1 more year and let him do that developing and see how he does. And then if he does well, then pick up his team option the next year. The Knicks maybe will be able to go into 2021 free agency. They'll definitely be able to go in with some money to spend. They'll maybe come in with some aspirations of signing somebody, but that remains to be seen. But, then potentially you've got a young core that's developed more over a whole nother year. And, you're in a good position. So I don't even think it's worth looking at a new head coaching candidate this summer if what Miller's been doing so far holds out. That's how I'm looking at it, at least.
Agreed. Good points, man. Salute to everybody in the chat. Once again, hit that thumbs up button for your boys. We're going to get to the trade rumors and stuff like that in a second. First, I want to get to Matty G checking in from New Mexico because he wants to talk about Coach Miller. Matty G, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great, CP. How are you?
Cool. Is this Matty G from Wanto?
Yes.
Long Island's finest, all the way out west in the desert. What's going on, man? How you feeling, bro?
Oh, CP. This all 82 club been tough this year, man.
It's been tough, man. It's been tough. It's been tough, man.
And I see you too. You're almost ready to break, but you're hanging in there.
Hey, listen. Some nights are tough, especially on the West Coast. Some nights are tough. But you know what?
You're getting a little salty.
Yeah,
I see you.
Yeah. I've been losing patience early this year, man, especially with Fizz. But you know what? Hey, listen. The Sacramento game, the Golden State game. Obviously, you know those are teams more in our league, but they were still a win is a win. And especially on the West Coast when you don't get that many out there, especially for the Knicks, you know, it was okay. But this effort tonight, obviously we wanted to win, but this is what you could ask for. This is all you could ask for, man. They gave it their best shot. They kept it gritty, they kept it tough, and they fought till the end. They just couldn't get a bucket.
Yeah, let me tell you something. The altitude is real. Like when I moved to New Mexico, I had young moms running circles around me at the gym. I was 6K above sea level.
Damn.
I'm serious. Like this, I wanted to tell myself no. I want to stick to no moral victories, right, moving forward. But we would have been down. We would have lost by 30 if Fizz is coaching that game.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
You agree?
I mean, especially with the defensive strategy he went with in the first game. Al, pack the paint and let's leave these guys wide open from three. We definitely would have gotten blown out from the first half. I don't doubt that at all.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, they would have never. Listen, Fizdale. I'm sorry, Alex.
No, go ahead, Al. Go ahead.
Oh, it's okay. I was just gonna say that's what we were just talking about a minute ago about Fizdale, versus Miller. That Miller has these guys actually playing defense that makes sense given the opponent. That Fizdale was so married to that, that strategy that won him one game against the Cavaliers, that he would play it against anybody, and it makes no sense against a team like the Nuggets. So, yeah, it's definitely progress.
Yeah, and Fizz, he like you said, CP, looked like Obama post office, right?
Yeah, he was
like the guy was broken.
Broken.
He couldn't even keep his head in the game. Because he has all this stress of trying to keep his job and figuring it out. And he was just paralyzed by fear, in my opinion. So to see Mike Miller come in and be so engaged, be so focused, be calling those timeouts at the right times to quiet the crowd, ride the guys who are hot to keep us in the game. I see a moral victory tonight. I mean, this is a tough team. Denver's a tough place to play.
Yeah.
And because we didn't fold, I mean, it's like you say, we got out-talented. They couldn't hit the broadside of a barn for the last 5 minutes of that game. It was crazy.
True story, man. True story. You just got out-talented at the end. Al, tonight, Denver 10 for 28 from three. The first game in the Garden, they were 21 for 39. From three, 58% from three in the first game, only 35% tonight. Now they're coming off a back-to-back. Obviously you gotta watch the film more extensively to see how those threes are coming, but certainly a much bigger difference than the MSG game.
Yeah, I thought the Knicks were making smart decisions in this one about who to leave open from three too. Mm-hmm. They left Jokic more open from three than most guys, and it's what, that's fine because he doesn't shoot. He can hit it, but as we saw late in the game, obviously he hit the one that ultimately put them up, but he's not a mega high percentage 3-point shooter. He's not he's not like a Gary Harris or Jamal Murray, for example. Mm-hmm. And there was some mistakes with those covering those guys as well. There was one in particular I remember where Knox got kind of caught up on a screen that he probably could have fought through a little harder, and as a result, Harris created just enough space to get off a really clean look from three. So there was still some of those here and there, but it was nothing like that first game. I mean, the first game was an embarrassment. They were still doing the pack the paint thing, but it's you can't do that against Jokic. No. My God, you're talking about one of the best passing big men of all time. Right. Maybe the best passing big man of all time. Right. He knows how to pass out of a double or triple team. my God, it's easy for him. He doesn't. It doesn't affect him in the slightest. So. And then they just got murdered from the 3-point line in that game, and that's why they lost by like 42 or whatever. Who even knows how much they lost by in that game? But I think that one was 37, but they went down by.
Yeah, I think it was 129 to 92. 37. Yep.
Yeah. So I mean, it's like it's just like they did things that made sense. The Nuggets didn't shoot like a horrible percentage from 3, but the Knicks also held them to a relatively low number of attempts in 2019. You know what I mean? Like, so they were making them make hard decisions about whether they wanted to shoot threes or not. And then when they did shoot them, they didn't go in at like a super, super high rate. And it was good enough to almost win the game. So I liked how they did it, from a strategy perspective of, like cutting their losses at certain points and knowing who to leave open and who not to leave open, playing the percentages, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, let's see how they do against the Hawks on Tuesday. Let's see if they keep it rolling. Is it going to be a letdown game, or do they actually bring it at home against the Hawks and take it to them? So it's everybody.
Well, this is only, I will say, this is only their second. It's only going to be their second home game under Miller, and coming home to like 500 over that West Coast trip when everybody expected them to just get. Probably swept. Yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody even thought they were going to win the Golden State game.
Yeah.
For them to come back like that, like, I think they're going to have the home crowd behind them on Tuesday, like more so than usual, like right from the tip.
Yeah.
And hopefully, hopefully the fans kind of, push them forward and let them not run into a letdown after this good road trip here.
True story, man. Salute to everybody in the chat once again on this Sunday night. CP from KnicksFanTV here. You're hearing from my guy Alex Wolf filling in for Jay Ellis. This is number one show for the fans, by the fans, Knicks Post Game Live. If you're a diehard Knicks fan, if you're a diehard basketball fan, hit that subscribe button below and the notification bell so you don't miss anything. This is a show where we talk about Knicks news, Knicks rumors, interviews, and post-game live analysis featuring live callers. It's time for the shameless plug. This show is sponsored by the good people at Scotch Porter Premium Beard Products. Al, this is the products that I use. I use their beard wash, which is pretty good. The conditioner, the serum, the balm. That's how you keep your beard smooth, shiny, and nice for the ladies. You know what I mean? So for the holidays, they are offering all fans of the show 50% off their beard collection. The link is in the video description, and the mod will also put the links up as well. Hey, listen, if you don't have a beard like my man Al, they got hair care products. They have face products. So for you guys out there, man, it's for that self-care. You know what I mean, Al? You got to take care of yourself. And Scotch Porter, man, it's all natural ingredients. I love their products, and that's what I use on a regular.
Well, let me just tell you, you got one of the nicest beards I've ever seen in person.
Thank you, man.
So,
thank you, brother.
You got a good beard.
Thanks,
and
man.
I was literally growing one until yesterday, and then I shaved it because it's my anniversary. And my wife likes me clean shaven.
All right.
So I decided to shave up, but I'm gonna start growing one again. So I'm gonna.
Hey, listen, man, check them out.
I'm gonna buy some, put it on the shelf for when I get the beard back.
Scotch Porter, man, all natural ingredients. Their stuff is good. It doesn't leave your beard shiny or anything like that. It's a real good look, man. So definitely check it out. So to everybody in the chat once again, throw your cities in the chat. Let us know where you guys are checking in from, and so we can shout you guys out. All right, Al. Today is the day, December 15th. It is D-Day. It's become the new trade deadline. You know what I mean? The pre-trade deadline. Today's the day when all these free agent acquisitions are eligible to be traded. Now, over the past couple of weeks, obviously the biggest name from the Knicks' perspective has been Marcus Morris. We are hearing Woj and Zach Lowe did their trade show on ESPN today actually earlier this evening, and Zach Lowe is claiming that the Clippers are interested in Mook and could be willing to trade Mo Harkless, Patrick Peterson, and a first. Where are you? Patrick Patterson. Yeah.
Where's Patrick Peterson?
Yeah. Wrong sport. Wrong sport. But where are you at on trading Mook, period? And how would you like this potential trade?
I'm conflicted. Like it all comes down to things are kind of different in the NBA with this. I feel like, I mean, we see this in baseball relatively often where if a team has nothing to play for, the Yankees, for example, a lot of people who watch this show are probably Yankees fans. I know that you are as well. I'm not, but but they did that with Chapman. They trade, and actually the Mets did it with Jay Bruce as well. I think
they did
in that same year, where you could trade a guy away who's on an expiring deal, and then it kind of handshake agreement with them and say, hey, we'd like to have you back if you want to come back in the offseason. I feel like you don't really see that happen much in the NBA, but I don't know if it's necessarily unprecedented. Like it could probably happen for the Knicks if they decided to do it, and there's nothing prohibiting them from re-signing Morris should they trade him away. So I mean, I said the same thing about Noah Vonleh last year, actually. When there was reports about maybe him being available via trade, and should the Knicks trade him? Should they not? He was a valuable piece. He looked pretty good. He looked like he was a good reclamation project. And my thought then was like, trade him away, but be nice to him. Give him a handshake on the way out and be like, look, man, like, this is a business. We have to make a business move because we have to get the future assets, but we would absolutely love to have you back this offseason.
Facts.
And continue doing this. But we can give you an opportunity for the rest of the season to play for a contender and, play for a team that has something to play for this year rather than just sticking it out with our team. And you could pick right back up where you left off. If you come back this offseason, we'll go right back to it next season and do it all over again. So that's kind of what I would do with Morris, and like the unique position that the Knicks are in regards to this too. And this plays back into the baseball thing, I guess. In baseball, there's unlimited money, so you can do whatever you want as long as you can afford it. In basketball, you have the salary cap to play with, but the Knicks are in the unique position where they have no long-term money committed this offseason too.
Right.
So they could come right back at Morris and hit him with another 1 or 2 year overpay deal like they did this year and give him that money again.
Get that bag.
Yeah, if you could get, if it's Mo Harkless, Patrick Patterson, and a first-round pick, I mean, Harkless is a somewhat useful player by himself.
Right.
Patterson is filler, whatever. That's fine. He's just there for the salary. But the first-round pick, I mean, that's valuable. No matter who ends up in the front office, like if there's one thing that this front office has proven to be pretty decent at, it's drafting. So you get yourself, and especially in the late stages of the draft, rather than, you could argue whether the lottery picks have been home runs or not. But certainly in the later stages of the draft, they're good. So if you get a late first round pick out of Marcus Morris, then take it and run. And again, the Knicks are in a unique position where they have no long term money committed, and they can just come right back to Morris and say, look, we'll pay you again. We'll give you a ton of money.
It's 25. Like you said, it doesn't hurt him. That doesn't hurt him in the short term. I'm with you. I'm with a lot of people. I like what he's brought to this team. I like the leadership that he's brought. I like the toughness that he's brought. Obviously, he's been one of our clutch players. Having a career season, points, rebounds, three-point shooting, one of the best three-point shooters in the league. No doubt about it. I love how he's really, even though, we used to call him a bootleg Melo, Dollar Tree Melo, I really didn't know how much Melo had an impact on him. When they played Portland, and he really was complimentary about Melo and how much Melo's had an impact on his career. And also his last quote was basically quoting Melo and saying, Melo said, a lot of guys can't play here. I want to show I can play here. I want to show that I could be a leader for this team. And that really resonated with me. But, the sentimental stuff, it means nothing until the contract is signed. You know what I mean? And I think I'm with you. I go to him and I say, listen, for the second half of the season, go play for something real. If it's the Clippers, you got a legit shot of winning a championship. That's not happening right now. You know what I'm saying? It's not happening here. So if that's the case, we want to upgrade the talent on this team. You have to trade him. You have to trade him if you can get into the first round. Number one, we need talent. We need more talent on this team. This team is desperate for more shooting. They're desperate for more rim protection. And obviously, maybe it comes in the lottery, but I think, we can still use an upgrade at the point guard. So you got to try to trade him. I'm trading him. If I could get a first-round pick, I'm absolutely trading him with the intention of bringing him back in the next season. No doubt about it.
Yeah, and I'm actually even looking to see the Clippers here, see what picks they have available.
They have this coming draft. They can trade this one.
And
According
it's
to
just their
Macri,
own.
according to Macri, they can trade this pick this year. They have this year's pick that they can trade.
They could trade their own pick. I was looking to see if they had someone else's or something, but they only have their own pick. But that's fine. I mean, that's great. Just take their own pick and run with it. I think. And like I think there's a real case to be made that, like you just said, get talent. You need talent, and the last couple of years I think have shown that if you have the right evaluators and the right guys slip and stuff like that, you can get real talent in the late first round. I mean, I was a huge Brandon Clark guy coming into the draft this past year, and he's been awesome so far. And he got taken with the 22nd pick or something like that.
He was later in the first. Yep.
He fell, and same with Thibault. He also fell, and it's like, dude, these type of guys fall, man, and they're the types that aren't necessarily going to turn into superstars, but they're the guys that you can maybe even argue that Frank is kind of looking like he's developing into now, which is defense first. Make team plays. They're going to look around the floor and try to hit guys and not. They're not necessarily going to be superstars, but they'll be really quality role players that you can find in that general, 20 to 25 to 30, whatever range. There's always guys like that if you have the right talent evaluators. There was even, Mitchell Robinson almost went in that range too, because the Lakers almost gave him a guarantee a couple years ago, which God, imagine if they had with the team that they have now.
Facts.
If they have Mitchell Robinson and Anthony Davis. You know what I mean?
Man, you got Mitch running around with LeBron. Forget about it, man. Forget it.
He'd be catching lobs like from the other side of the court practically. But anyway, it's important, and it's like you said, you got to put the sentimental stuff aside. You can't. It's cool. Like, I want to be attached to Marcus Morris, and I would say that I am at this point. I think he's a really good dude. I think he's saying all the right things. It seems like a really good leader for the kids. It seems like he's putting forth a really good example for them. I've actually had the privilege of being in the locker room, for Sports Illustrated now a little bit. And, he's definitely one of the guys that carries some gravity. He's the guy that almost after every single game speaks to the media, regardless of the play or the outcome or anything. He's willing to take all the bullets for all the young kids,
Yeah.
So he's a great guy to have around, no doubt. And I don't know if I would trade him like today, like on day one of the trading period.
Right.
But when it comes time for the deadline, I think it's time to send him out. But send him out like with a firm handshake and like look, man, let's talk again in the summer.
That's what I say. And as you said, we can go to the depths that no other teams may not go. On a shorter term deal.
Oh, the Knicks next year, screw it, man. Just be like, Mook, we'll give you $20 million for 1 year. Just come back again. Just come back for a second year with us. Because then, all right, not to get too caponomics here, but if you offer a guy a huge overpay like that, then you get what's called early bird rights with him. And so, Marcus Morris, if you offer him $20 million next year, he's never getting $20 million again in his life. You know what I mean? Like, not for a single season. He's just not that guy. And, so you can offer him that, but then with the early bird rights, then you get like the ability to re-sign him. And you can also trade him places where teams can re-sign him in the offseason to 105%, I think, of his salary for that 1 year. So, even if he ends up getting traded again, he's going to be an attractive trade piece a second time in a row, or, the Knicks will get some sort of rights to re-signing him, even if they only sign him to a 1 year overpay. So it's just kind of the good thing with the system, how everything works out for them. But I would definitely try to bring him back and, leverage your unique situation for a second year in a row and try to just overpay him again and bring him back in the offseason.
Absolutely, man. What do you guys think in the chat, man? Give us a call. What do you guys think about these trade rumors? 657-383-1509. Let us know what you think. Al, on another trade front, the Ujiri talks. Obviously, it's never ending, with the Fizdale ouster, with Mills hopefully on his way next. It's been rumored, obviously, that Dolan is after Ujiri hard body. We know, obviously, he's on the contract with Toronto. We first heard that it's going to cost 1 pick, and now Begley's coming out with... Well, it's not from a source, but basically Begley's article basically said that in another scenario where a team tried to trade for a GM, the asking price was 2 firsts. right? So the assumption is that an Ujiri is going to command the same. What do you think about that? About trading for Ujiri? That's I don't know. What do you think?
Here's my overall thought on it at this point, and I know that we just literally 2 seconds ago talked about you need talent, you need late first round picks, you need this, you need that. But like, if you could get Ujiri, who's a clear, I mean, he's a winning team builder, he's a championship builder now. You know, there was always kind of the talk with Ujiri before last year about like, oh, he builds good rosters, but can he build a championship team? And you know, last year he did, and he made all the right calls to do that. And you know, now he's got Toronto set up with, even after they lost Kawhi Leonard, they're set up with a new, you know, superstar in Siakam. Speaking of guys you can get with late first round picks that kind of blossom into something. But you know, I think that he's the type of guy, the rare executive where I would say, yeah, you know what? If it costs 2 first round picks, I think I'm all right with that because I have faith that he'll get those back at some point sooner rather than later. You know, and
fleece somebody else for.
Exactly. The way that I would do it is I would offer up the 2 Dallas picks, I think is the way to go. Because I think that those are going to be late first rounders. With the Knicks picks, it's really risky. You can't really offer up your own picks right now if you're the Knicks because they're so bad. You know, it's like the Knicks could be bad for another 3 years, even with Ujiri. You never know, you know, and if they are, then their picks are going to continue being really, really valuable. So unless you could put like, you know, eternal top 10 protections on them or something, or lottery protections, then, you know, you can't do that. It just because it's way too big of a risk. But those Dallas picks, ultimately, I don't think are going to end up being as valuable as we maybe had hoped they would become. It seems like the 2021 one, you know, you get Luka Doncic out there for another 2 years, or well, this year and next year, he's only going to get better, presumably. Porzingis, whatever happens with him, it seems like it doesn't matter how good or bad Porzingis is because Doncic is going to be good enough to make this team at least close to a playoff team, you know, for years and years to come. So that 2021 pick will be a little less valuable. The 2023 one is, I believe, top 20 protected or is just lottery protected. Either way, it's pretty highly protected, and if it doesn't convey after 1 year, it turns into 2 second-round picks.
Facts.
So, you know, it's like a sneaky first-round pick. That one's like a first-round pick.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I would trade those 2, and if they're willing to do that for Ujiri, then cool, do it. You know, I think it would kind of sting. Yeah. Because now you're essentially turning your Porzingis return into, okay, you traded Porzingis for Dennis Smith, who kind of looks shitty, and Masai Ujiri. You know, and that's it. So you traded Porzingis for an executive.
Man. Oh.
But when it's that executive, I'm cool with it because nobody commands more respect than him around the NBA. I don't think at this point. And I think he really has the respect of players and agents and everything. So and he seems like a great talent evaluator on top of him. So.
I would have to. I think the Dallas picks, I would lean more towards none of our picks. I wouldn't give up any of our picks. No. Not at all. No chance. I just feel like there are other options out there. Obviously, he's the creme de la creme. And we should know that as he's fleeced us many times. And built that Toronto team. Took as you said, gambled on 100%, trading their heart and soul to get Kawhi Leonard and getting that chip. Trading a coach of the year the previous season. And everything just hit right for them. It's just such a Nick thing to do, but it's like, damn, this is the guy right now.
You could argue that it's a Nick thing to do, or you could argue it's an un-Nick thing to do. You know what I mean? Like it's one way or the other, and the only way that's going to determine what it ends up being is how the outcome turns out. You know, if the Knicks end up turning into something because of this, then it's the most genius move in franchise history. If you know Masai comes and nothing
gets fleeced,
if he gets fleeced, or if nothing becomes of the Knicks, you know, over his tenure, then it's like, well, you just wasted 2 more first-round picks for nothing, you know, and it's just a typical Knicks move. So it's like it's a win-lose, you know. It's like a coin flip, you know. You never know, but I think it would be the right move. I don't think you could look at that and be like, well, that was a bad choice because the Knicks have craved, and particularly Dolan has craved that kind of, you know, presence at the top for so long, and he's got such a man crush on Masai that you know that whatever Masai would ask for, he would give him. Give him full autonomy, full hiring power, full firing power, everything.
Give it to
He
him.
would give Masai everything. He'd give him $50 million a year to his foundation. Whatever the hell Masai wanted, he would get. So
Facts.
that's I think it's the way to be.
It's like Van Gundy said, man. Van Gundy was on an interview with Coach K earlier this week, and he was kind of talking about his tenure there and what's going on now. And his whole thing was, things haven't been right since Dave Checketts, man. And that was 20 years ago. And from Checketts, it was, I believe Ernie Grunfeld was under that regime, who did a pretty decent job. But then you had Layden, then you had Isaiah Mills, to fill the. It's just been a disaster, man, and we just have not had that solid structure foundation from the top of people that you trust to make the right decision. Dolan trusts them, but they just haven't been coming through for us, man. Have not been coming through for us, so I'll be open for it just for the sake of, like you said, this is the guy, but definitely not our own picks.
Or if you're gonna do your own, heavily protect them in the way that Dallas protected the 2023 one. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Make it so you have to be good for it to convey as a first-round pick.
Who do you think's the most likely player to be traded, if there is a trade? Because that's another thing. I don't think it's as guaranteed as we think that any one of these guys are getting traded. We're coming from a position of desperation. That's never a good thing.
Yeah, you mean like which Nick you think is most likely to be traded?
Yeah.
I bet you. So there's a few trades I could see happening. I do think they're going to end up trading Morris. I just think that. Anytime I feel like you can get a first-round pick in season for a player in the NBA, you do it because it's so rare anymore. So I think they'll do that. Be it with the Clippers or some other team. Some contender will want him. I mean, he's balling.
Got to.
By any stretch, he's balling this year. I think there's a decent chance Trier might get traded.
I think that's my pick. I think ISO gets dealt.
I probably feel like a second-round pick, which is still, I think, puts the Knicks in the positive in that transaction. I mean, I like Trier well enough for what he does, but he kind of only does what he does. He's a good ISO scorer, and he can get you a couple quick buckets. I had really high hopes for him this year, maybe coming in as a catch and shoot type guy, learning under guys like Ellington and Bullock and all that, and that just hasn't really happened yet. So I think that he's going to go because it seems, if you read between the lines, it seems like there's some unrest with him. Yeah. With the team and with management, with coaching, and he's catching DNPs again and stuff like that. So he might go. I guess I'm trying to think who else maybe I could see moving. Maybe Ellington, like if you could find a team that wants him for a second-round pick or something. He's kind of fallen out of the rotation. Or no, he's been hurt. I'm sorry, he's been hurt.
Yeah, he's had the Achilles.
Even so, he's been up and down in the rotation, with the team this year. So I could see him potentially, getting moved just to a team that wants a little auxiliary shooting. And he'd be a good value for any team that wants that because they have the second-year option as well. So if you trade him to a team that's capped out, they can keep him for a second year, only for paying the luxury tax or whatever on him. So teams might be interested in that. Maybe even Gibson, if I'm being honest. But I feel like Gibson they're going to keep around.
We got to keep Taj.
I think he's turned into a heart and soul type guy.
Yeah,
I don't really think he's going to go. Only other guy, maybe. I don't think any of the core young guys are going to go.
No,
for sure.
Yeah.
I can maybe see them moving Peyton, but Peyton's proving to be really crucial to this team as a whole right now. So Peyton would have to elevate his value to a Morris level of being able to fetch a first-round pick or something. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if he'll ever hit that.
I don't think so.
I
don't think he'll get much from Portis either.
Yeah, so they'll probably hold on him. The only other guy, maybe Portis. If some team is just really desperate for some scoring off the bench or something.
Yeah.
Maybe. But Portis is so streaky that I feel like any good team with anything to play for wouldn't necessarily be willing to give up anything for him.
I'm not giving you anything for that guy.
You could almost just turn him into a spot-up three-point shooter at this point. Like, he flashes that sometimes where you think, like, if you could just set him up where he could sit in the corner and just shoot threes.
Don't do anything else.
Be like a glorified Steve Novak, with a little bit of a post-game. Like,
don't put the ball on the floor and just shoot. That's it.
I mean, he could maybe fill that role well enough. But I can't see anybody trading anything of substance for him, especially when he makes $15 million and you got to find matching salaries, and it would just be too much work for someone that probably isn't worth it.
Too much, man. But I agree with you in that order. I think it's Morris. I think it's ISO and potentially Ellington. I think those are the most realistic moves. Maybe Dotson. Maybe Dotson gets moved.
I feel like they're going to hold on to Dotson because I actually think that Miller really likes him. Based off, I mean, tonight was different. Tonight he only played 7 minutes, but I think that was just situational. I think in general, Miller really likes him.
Yeah, I like that. I would love to keep him. I would love to keep him. I just think with ISO, as you said, it looks like obviously he's falling out of favor with the rotation. Obviously, well, not obvious, but it's likely that we get more help in the backcourt in this draft. So once again, that's another player to add to this mix. I think ISO gets slid out. So we'll see what happens, man. Salute to everybody in the chat once again. Hit that thumbs up button for you boys. Let's shout out. What do I want to shout out here? I want to shout out Jay the Humble Keys. He's checking in from Toronto, Canada. So salute to Jay. Who else I want to shout out here? Mouse is going a little crazy. Hang tight. Okay, we got Jay. We got Tommy Gibbs checking in, Tucson, Arizona. What's going on, Tommy? How you feeling? We got Ryan Barone checking in from Naples, Florida. So salute to you guys. Okay, I don't know what happened here with my mouse. What the hell is going on? Hang on 1 second now. Okay, here we go. Back working. Salute to Big Surge in the building. King Kong Kurt, what's going on? Gotham in the building. He says he wants Anthony Edwards. We got Bad Book 1 in here checking in from Des Moines, Iowa. A Cornhusker. That's Iowa, right? Cornhusker. Salute
That's
to
Nebraska,
man. What do Iowa do?
The
Hawkeyes. Yeah, he's a Hawkeye in the building. Okay. All right. Salute Ed Santana, always in here. Victor Barahona. He's in Portland. He was at the Portland game, actually. So salute to Victor. All right. Last call of the night is going to go to my man Los Maine, checking in from North Carolina. Los Maine, how you feeling, bro? Hello?
Fell asleep.
Oh man, Los Maine fell asleep on us, man. That's how we close the show.
Yo, you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. I thought we lost you, man. We lost you, man.
Yo.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, you ain't lose me.
How you feeling tonight, man? What you think about the game?
Yo, CP.
Yep.
Yo, CP.
Yep.
Yo, you the hood Stephen A. Smith, yo. You the hood Stephen A. Smith. Yo, CP.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Yo, I ain't even a Knicks fan. I just like your show, man. I be tuning in. I know you see me all the time, yo. Yeah. I ain't even watched the game tonight, but I tuned into the show,
though. Wait. Who's your team, bro? Because you call in all the time. You're always in the chat. Who's your team?
Man, you know I'm from NC, man. You know I like, sadly, it's the Hornets. Sadly.
It could be worse, man.
Hey, it could be worse. It could be worse, man. Well, yo, appreciate the support, man.
Yo, CP.
yo, man. I said my man sound like a broken record, man. I gotta let you go tonight, man. Nah, that's love, man. I appreciate it, Los, man. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, Al, he calls here all the time. You know, he's in the chat all the time. I had no idea. I thought he was a Knicks fan.
Yeah, well, you know, I guess he just enjoys Knicks Fan TV, man. I don't blame him. This is a fun show.
I don't blame him,
just
man.
Watch.
I don't blame him, man. We're for the people, man. We're for the fans, by the fans, man. We welcome everybody, man.
You get analysis. You get a place to comment.
That's
it. Freaking comedy sometimes, you know. Sometimes unintentional, you know. In
That's
my case, but you know.
Yeah, man. I guess Miles Bridges and company aren't cutting it for him, man.
I guess you'd rather have Kevin Knox, apparently. I don't know.
That's
a lot of Knicks fans would probably say the opposite. But
Facts. Facts, man. Well, anyway, man, appreciate you coming back on the show. The return of Alex Wolf, man. I'm going to throw the screen over to you and go ahead and sign out, bro.
All right. Well, first off, happy to be back. I love doing the Sunday episodes, man. I've missed them. They've been awesome. So you can find me. I'm on Twitter at @TheAlexWolf. I am with Posting and Toasting, SB Nation's Knicks blog. That's postingandtoasting.com or at PT Knicks blog on Twitter, where you can find me clipping highlights and stuff during the game. Fastest Twitter fingers in the game. And then also on Locked On Knicks, which I'm probably going to hang up from here and go record. You can find us generally every day, daily New York Knicks podcast. That's Locked On Knicks. It's on all the places you can stream your podcast, and at Locked On Knicks on Twitter. And that is it. Did I get it all?
Hey, you got it all, man.
You could also check out Knicks SI, right? I almost
Oh
forgot.
yeah,
One more thing.
yeah. That's it, man.
I will be in the building for Knicks SI, Sports Illustrated's new Knicks vertical, on December 23rd. So that's my Christmas gift, is I get to go cover the Knicks 2 days before Christmas. But also, there's great staff there, including Jonathan Macri at Knicks Film School. So we're putting out content over on Knicks SI as well. Check them out at Knicks SI on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken, or si.com/NBA/Knicks. There we go. All right. I hit all my boxes.
All right, there we go, man. So, Al's got more jobs than a Jamaican, man. He's the hardest working man in the business, man. Salute to Alex Wolf once again. Salute to everybody for watching. Hey, it was a tough game, tough loss. But it was a valiant effort by those Knicks. Knicks lose in Denver 111-105. Remember that these shows are available in audio podcast format, Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, Amazon, Alexa, all in the video description below. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you get your Scotch Porter premium beer products for the holidays, 50% off for all fans of the show. Please share these videos. Text the Knicks fan. If there's a Knicks fan out there that's not here, send them a text with this video link. Share it on Facebook. Share it on Twitter. Let them know this is the #1 show for the fans, by the fans. And the more the merrier, man. You're all welcome. Even Los Mean, even the Charlotte fans are welcome in here, man. We don't turn anybody away, man. So once again, we'll see you guys Tuesday night. Knicks versus Hawks. Sean Brown, appreciate it. Big Surge in here, appreciate it. Ayo Emma says she's a fan of posting and toasting, appreciate it. NYK Gunner, thanks a lot. All of the mods, thank you for your help as usual. Real quick, we had some super chats come in. I want to shout out BX2 Gross. He says Mike Miller has these boys competing, let them rock. Frank White sends us a super chat as well. And Leon Johnson says trade DSJ for a first round YMCA pick. So there it is, man. Salute to you guys. But let us know what you guys think about the recent trade rumors and who would you want to see traded. Leave a comment in the video description. See you guys Tuesday. We out of here. Peace.